quickly. My name is Ron Owens. I'm here today as a long-term Pennsylvania resident, corporate executive, community volunteer, a trustee of a college, a board member of a bank, co-chair of a subcommittee with the Office of Mental Health and Substance Services, a member of the Pennsylvania Parent Advisory Council that was formed in 2006, a husband, a father, and a grandfather. I am not here as a paid spokesperson for any organization. I'm not here to present myself as a medical expert or as someone who has spent months and years following attempts by organization or paid lobbyists in a small number of states to get this controversial issue of the legalization of marijuana for medical purposes into law. I'm here mostly as a father whose life changed forever on November 24, 2003, when my 23-year-old daughter, Sarah, died. She didn't die a peaceful death. She died a painful and anguished death at the hands of a wicked and tenacious disease of addiction. Sarah was a loving daughter, granddaughter, sister, and mother of a beautiful 5-year-old daughter, Taylor Rose. She was not an angry, mean-spirited person, even though she was caught in the grip of a relentless illness. She was always kind, respectful, and sympathetic to the needs of others. She enjoyed life to its fullest. She didn't want to have this illness. She struggled mightily to conquer the demons, but they were victorious in the end. I'm only one voice here today, but I'm representing tens of thousands of families who will not get a voice today, but who certainly deserve to have their voice heard at the ballot box on this issue. This important landscape-changing legislation should not, in my opinion, be decided by legislators and a governor who has 5 months left in his term. I'm here today to voice strong opposition to House Bill 1393 for my deceased daughter, whose life was taken away, for the thousands of families whose lives have been adversely affected by a drug-related illness in their families, and on behalf of our children who do not need to grow up in a future Pennsylvania if this bill is enacted, where using illegal drugs, not legal drugs, illegal drugs, is condoned. I challenge any intelligent person here today to argue that this bill will unquestionably not increase abuse in our state. The focus of my comments today is not to present theories or opinions about medical marijuana, but to simply present the facts that I've gathered from my own personal review. And let me mention a few. Number one, the Federal Drug Administration, FDA, opposes medical marijuana. Modern medicine does not condone smoking. I have not found another medication that's smoked to cure an illness. If there is one available, please make me aware of it. Our country follows a process through the FDA to assure that medications are safe and effective. I read of many studies that concluded that there's no scientific evidence that substantiates benefits from smoking marijuana. Medical marijuana has never passed safety tests by the FDA. In fact, in the early 1990s, the FDA allowed a limited number of seriously ill patients to smoke marijuana. The program was terminated in 1992 when no evidence was discovered that marijuana was assisting patients. In fact, the FDA, the organization that regulates medicine in our country, issued a warning that it actually could be harmful to some patients. Number two, current federal law categorizes marijuana, regardless of the reason for its use, as having high potential for abuse. As such, the federal law does not allow or permit the use of marijuana at this time. Let me say that again. Federal law does not allow or permit the use of medical marijuana at this time. From my review, the passage of 1393 would likely be challenged as it's to legality on the federal level. Number three, the use, distribution, and trafficking of marijuana continues to be an illegal activity according to federal law. Use, distribution, and trafficking of marijuana continues to be illegal according to federal law. Four, in a number of states who have passed this legislation of medical marijuana with strict statutes, the marijuana lobbyists have worked to liberalize the rules later. Next, few legitimate medical groups are supportive of the availability of marijuana as a medicine. Next, THC is available as a medicine in pure oral preparation. Marinol, which treats nausea and vomiting that goes along with certain treatments, and Nabilone, which also treats nausea. There are many other approved drugs to assist cancer patients. Next, open acceptance of marijuana for medical purposes interferes with enforcing drug screening. Will the use of medical marijuana allow workers to come to work high? Will employee productivity increase or decrease with this condition? Lastly, it is proven to be difficult and expensive to regulate the other medical marijuana states, and the amount of additional costs through to fraud, crime, and other costs will be exorbitant. Let me relate one small incident that I'm aware of. Some of you might remember it. It occurred in February of this year. A flight from Philadelphia to Los Angeles needed to be diverted to an emergency landing in Pittsburgh because a passenger on board the plane began screaming, dropped his pants, and attacked the airline crew. He was removed from the plane and arrested. Travel plans of the 100 passengers on board were interrupted because of this incident. The alleged reason for the incident? This person consumed 2 marijuana cookies, which was double the normal dosage that he had been taking. The unnecessary expenses to the various groups that were incurred as a result of this were high. Do I believe that this is an isolated incident? Who could not expect many more of these types of occurrences if marijuana usage for medical reasons is allowed? I didn't have the luxury, because of the short notice of this hearing of less than 1 week, to become aware or to study who else would be speaking before you today, representatives. I assume that you will probably not hear today from one very important group who are involved every day in helping parents formulate future opinions: our school administrators and teachers. This influential group to our children and grandchildren need to be heard from as to how they would instruct our young people on the dangers of marijuana use, but at the same time explain to them that although illegal, it could be used in the state of Pennsylvania. How many law enforcement officers have you heard from that will support this bill? Do you have a stable of Pennsylvania judges who believe this House bill is in the best interest of Pennsylvania? My wife and I belong to a fraternity of parents who tragically have lost a child as a result of a drug problem. You will probably hear today from someone that there's no scientific proof to substantiate a claim that marijuana is a highway to other drugs. I can tell you that my daughter had exposure to marijuana during her high school years in Pittsburgh. This exposure led her to other recreational drugs. Has any supporter of this House bill that is here today, or that have you heard from in the other hearings, had a death in their immediate family due to a drug addiction? My belief is if they did, they would not be supporting this dangerous piece of legislation. Representative Myers and Representative Weekly, I urge you not to legislate medical marijuana for Pennsylvania. Please protect our families, our youth, our communities, and the citizens of Pennsylvania from this dangerous change. Pennsylvania is a leader in many ways in America. Do not allow us to become the California of the East. Please do not support this bill. Thank you.